Hi there, this is James Swanwick, and you're listening to the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn how to take back control over alcohol and live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Hi, this is Roseanne from the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Programs. I am an enrollment coach with something called Project 90, and I'm also a client journey coach in the same program. I'm going to be sitting in for James today on this podcast, but I'm excited to be here with Liz Valicenti from the Boston area. She's a marketing executive, and we're going to talk about this journey of hers that helped her learn how to trust herself. Her life has changed so much over the last 100 days or so, and I'm excited for her to start sharing some of that with you all. So, hi Liz, welcome.
Hi Roseanne, so nice to see you.
Nice to have you here. Let's just start with, how many days alcohol-free are you?
I'm actually 93. So I just hit my 90
days. Wow. Well, because I've watched your journey, I've seen a whole lot of change, and I am excited to give you the opportunity to talk about all these things that changed in your very short journey, actually, 92 days. Let's just start with, I don't know, your drinking habits. I usually like to start with drinking habits and how they developed over time, maybe. When did you start drinking?
I think I had my first drink at 16. Mm-hmm. But I mean, alcohol was kind of always around, but I don't think it wasn't really something I even thought about most of my life. I think I was always I drank alcohol because it was fun and I wanted more fun. And I think just as I got older, maybe the last 5 years, maybe after my divorce, a lot more time being alone. And I think therefore going out more. I think it just became more of a habit. And as you get older, you really can't process the toxins and poisons from alcohol. And it became more of a health issue for me. I think I just decided I don't want to lose any days because I'm not feeling well. I don't want to be 100%. And I just realized, especially during COVID, the extra a little bit more alcohol involved when, there was really nothing to do. And it just didn't serve me. And I just really wanted to make a change. But I think primarily it was health. I'm a plant-based eater primarily. Mm-hmm. I do try to keep as healthy as I can. I mean, my motivation is really to be around for my 3 boys and their families. And I just wanted to be the healthiest I can. And this was it's like, I kept reading about, studies that show even 2 glasses of wine a day for women could increase the chances of certain cancers by 30%. I thought, well, why am I doing this? Why can't I need to be healthier.
Right. And I find it interesting that you mentioned, because many of us, our drinking is rooted not only in just that fun thing, but I think you're mentioning a divorce, some kind of experience that we maybe used alcohol to self-medicate with. Would you say that that's when drinking kind of got a little bit more habitual, I guess?
No, actually, I think it was celebratory. Seriously, like I actually felt free for the first time in a long time. And so I really was drinking in like more of a joyous state. When I felt really good is when I would drink. Wow. And then of course you feel terrible the next day. Yeah. And then, but the fact is it made you feel worse, not better.
Do you want to tell people what your career focused on? Because I think your career and drinking kind of generally go hand in hand, right?
I think, for me, I think I worked so many hours that, oh gosh, I don't know.
What was your career?
I worked for a golf company for 28 years, and they were long hours. Like I definitely 12, 15 days. It was digital marketing, so I was on call all the time. It was very, very stressful. So I definitely like on weekends would be like, okay, I need to relax for sure.
But were you out on the golf course a lot drinking or?
No, actually, just in the last year, during COVID, I've played an awful lot of golf, and yes, just recreationally, not with my work, recreationally, a lot of drinking on the golf course and afterwards hanging out with, everybody at the club. So yeah, this spring and summer, there was a lot. And I think that probably led me to making the choice in November to go P90. Yeah, for sure.
And before you were drinking, while golfing, you were drinking more on Friday and Saturday nights to have fun. And was that?
Yeah. But then, it just becomes a habit, and it's more, it's more than that. And it might be only one or two glasses of wine, but it becomes a habit. And then you're just like, well, what's my normal self? Who am I without alcohol? I think that was always a question. Is like, am I being my best version of myself? And the answer to that was no, absolutely not. And
why did you believe that? Why did you believe you weren't the best version of yourself?
I don't think I was progressing in my career as much as I wanted to. I think I was tired. Definitely lack of confidence in myself and my abilities. I definitely started thinking that, I'm getting towards the end of my life, meaning, end of a career, that everything was like, I just didn't have any hope for the future. I just felt like everything's kind of on the downward trajectory. And
right.
I was accepting that. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, my next job, it's really not going to be that good. Oh, you're not really good enough. Those little stories that I was telling myself, well, that's okay. Just get a job to pay the bills, and then you'll move to Florida, and then you'll play golf with the ladies, and then you'll, have your 4:00 cocktails. And in my mind, I was telling myself that story, and it didn't feel very good. It didn't. I was like, well, I don't want to do that. And I think it was, once I get into P90, that's when I was like, oh, wow, I don't have to have that. I don't. I see my future. Yeah.
Right. And when Liz mentions P90, she means our Project 90 program. And for those that may be just listening and can't see, Liz is of an undisclosed age with 3 children. Ages, well, I didn't want James to disclose mine either. 24, 22, and 20, just to get some relative that you could be, 40, right?
Yes, I could.
She looks 40. And like I said, for those who might not be able to see her because you're listening to the podcast, somebody referred to her as looking like Farrah Fawcett. So she's...
Oh, really?
Yes, you didn't see that? I didn't. So this is quite beautiful. And
thank you.
I think that is important, quite beautiful, quite sweet. Yet you lacked the self-confidence. And I just find that interesting. Now that you're alcohol free, if you look back, would you say that alcohol played a role in your lack of self-confidence?
I think at the beginning, probably alcohol, I drank to make me feel less conscious. Yeah, definitely.
So to release your inhibitions.
Yeah, definitely. There's no question. And that probably my whole life. Yeah, just kind of, I was very, very shy, believe it or not, Roseanne. And that helped me get through things.
So liquid confidence.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So let's transition to the point, if you can remember, where you went, oh, wait a minute. I want to stop, but this is a little harder than I thought. When did that?
Yeah. So I think probably a few times over the last 3 or 4 years. I think I would really listen to people that had made the decision to, just to remove alcohol from their lives. And they seem to be just doing so well, so healthy, so confident, really growing in their careers. And I would just really tune in when I heard someone. So I would try, and I would say, well, at least I'll just not drink at all during the week, and then drink on the weekends. But all you need is one night of drinking 3 or 4 glasses of wine, and then you're feeling terrible again. And what was happening was, when I was making that commitment to myself and failing, I was getting that kind of guilt and shame. Like, I can't even trust myself to do what I want to do. That's when I didn't want to keep doing that, because that really lowered my self-esteem even more. So when I did hear about Project 90, and I think I had signed up for, it was years ago. I don't even know what the program was called with James, but I just didn't do it. I started it, but I didn't follow through. So I'd been getting a lot of the emails, and I'd listened to some podcasts, and I actually listened to a podcast, I think in October, maybe it was in October. And it was a man from the Boston area. And there's something about his story that just resonated with me. I think he was in marketing. He's around my age, family, and all the reasons that he talked about, that he had, everything that he had achieved in his 90 days was just like almost everything that I was looking for in my life. And so that really got me to make a call.
Right. Well, it is kind of miraculous. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but I can't wait to start talking to you about the changes in this short amount of time. So you start recognizing that, wow, this is kind of difficult to control. It starts affecting your self-confidence because you can't keep your word. I guess in Project 90, we like to say, it's a problem keeping integrity with yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. My new word for it was, now that I can look at it in the rearview mirror, is psychological ball and chain. Is that a good representation?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, you weren't a big drinker, though. I mean, had you considered AA or anything like that? Or
you know what? I did that for a little bit with one of my friends, because I just wanted to try anything. I was like, I never felt like I did connect. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like I fit in. I couldn't connect with any of the stories. It just wasn't something I could relate to. And I kept thinking, there's got to be something else. There's got to be people like me. Right. That just want to improve their life and become, healthier and just something with a little support to get you through it. Because it was never a physical craving of any kind. It was emotional, and it was habit. It was complete habit.
Right. So 93 or 2 days ago, you decided to join Project 90 and take alcohol out of your life, and you entered into a coaching program. And I have to say, Liz, I'm just going to say this as a coach who watched you. I mean, you were all in, absolutely all in. You heard the story, you listened to the podcast, you wanted results, and you dove in head first. So let's talk about those beginning days of being on.
I just said, I'm going to participate as much as I can. I went on as many Zoom calls as I could. I went on Marco Polo like almost every day.
Tell people what Marco Polo is, because not everybody knows.
Marco Polo is an app that anybody can use, but it's utilized in our group, Project 90, to communicate back and forth. And it's like it's a video app, and people can speak to it, and everybody else can listen to it on their own time, and then people can respond back. So it's great. It really works out for a group with all over the world, because anybody can tune in to listen to everybody's Marco Polo stories at any time. And it's just so much better than just audio or text, because you can really see people. You can see where, just what do they look like? What are they experiencing? And really listen. It really is a fabulous. I've actually, because of this, I started my college roommates. There's about 7 of us. And I said, you guys just give this a try. It was just like, it's unbelievable how it has changed our relationships, because we're all over the country as well. It's a really cool app. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're doing them a lot of good and increasing their revenue base. Although the app is free, but I think even a year round subscription is pretty cheap. But so talk about, what are the things that you took away from your experience in there?
After the 90 days?
No, during. Right, let's just start at the beginning, because it's not, you seem to make it look easy. I remember you coming on early on and going, I'm here, it's easy. First of all, can we talk about why you believe that it was easier for you than maybe other people? Do you want to share?
I definitely know it was the support of the community of Project 90 members. I definitely think because I participated, I really was all in. I listened to Kevin on the coaching calls and the Zoom calls and on the one-on-ones. I felt like I was just a student and absorbing everything I possibly could, because I quickly realized this wasn't about alcohol.
No,
this is about me, about growing as I tell people, I'm doing this personal and professional coaching program. I don't even say anything about alcohol. If someone asks me, I just say, well, we all have one thing in common. We're trying to take alcohol out of our lives, or we are taking alcohol out of our lives. But it's just so much more. And it was definitely the support of the community. I really connected with so many people, and it didn't matter where they were in the world, what gender, what age, you just can connect. We all had one thing, the one thing in common, and there's no judging. So right from the beginning, I felt like I could share anything about myself, my struggles, my hopes and dreams. And I got the support
that
I needed to keep going. And honestly, alcohol was, I think after the, first 2 weeks, I really didn't think about it that much. I was too excited about the growth that I was already seeing in my life.
Just a quick message from our show sponsor, Project 90, the program that helps you enjoy life more by getting ultimate power over alcohol. Project 90 helps high achievers regain their confidence, be more present with friends and family, get clear, reduce stress and anxiety, sleep better, increase focus and productivity, and feel a whole lot better. Project 90 does this by helping members quit alcohol for at least 90 days, whilst providing 6 months of accountability and support. The program has an 87% success rate of members reaching at least 90 consecutive days alcohol-free on their first attempt. Members get a one-on-one accountability coach, a community of like-minded people to interact with, 100% privacy and confidentiality, and what's more, members tell us that it's fun. Project 90 members are mostly over the age of 35, entrepreneurs, executives, top professionals, retirees. So if you're in your late 30s or 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s or older, and you consider yourself a high achiever and you're ready to upgrade your life by quitting alcohol for at least 90 days, maybe more, then you can have a free 45-minute exploratory call with one of Project 90's former clients, now coaches. If you'd like to book that call, you can go to jamesswanwick.com/schedule. That's jamesswanwick.com/schedule. Or if you're on your phone in the US right now, you can text me at the number 44222. Just send me the word Project 90. Send that to 44222, and the word is Project 90, and we'll email you a schedule link. Okay, let's get back to today's episode.
Well, talk about this, and I love the fact that you bring up the coaching, because it really, a lot of people unfortunately associate it with other maybe programs like AA, and AA is successful for people, and so I don't want to knock what's successful. but they're talking about alcohol in there. So a lot of people think that our discussions are around alcohol, but they're almost around everything but alcohol, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Because this isn't, I'm sorry, Roseanne,
No,
I was just
ahead.
excited that this isn't a program. This isn't about depriving yourself of alcohol. It's not about someone taking something away or saying you can't have something. This is about upgrading your life and getting so many things in return. And it's just, you're upgrading in every part of your life. So it's like, it's not about deprivation. It's about gaining so many more things.
Right. So you made a lot of really big decisions in the course of 90 days. And I remember a post you did about mid-cycle 45. But first, let's talk about these giant decisions you made and how it affected your life, and maybe how you came to those decisions in the midst of putting alcohol to the side.
Well, Kevin really helped me realize through his teachings of Dr. David Hawkins, using the cone of consciousness, where there are contracted and expanded states. And down in the contracted states, where a really low vibration level, are anger, fear, shame. And it's contracted. You're feeling really like you don't know, you can't even see outside of the hole that you're in. I know I was living in that area, that state, for about 3 years. And he just in the teachings, and I actually got the book Power versus Force, which goes through this cone and really explains it more in detail. And I just realized I have to get myself out of this contracted state. And with the help of Kevin and just Project 90, I really did. I started to come out of that contracted state, using acceptance, willingness, letting attachments go to the anger and fear, whether it was related to resentment of my ex-husband or of a job and a boss or something. And as I started to do that work and really let it go, I started moving up that cone of consciousness into a much more expanded state. So then when I was confronted with making choices to try to move forward, because I was still like, I have to do something. I was in a job that it was not the right one for me. And during COVID, it actually just really, it was hit hard. But I was staying there because of so much fear of the unknown behind that, but it was making me miserable. So, Kevin really helped me just feel that freedom to make the choice. And I made the choice. I removed myself from that situation. At the same time, there was something else that was really keeping me in a contracted state. I had been thinking about selling my home for about 5 years. Couldn't make that decision. I couldn't come to it again. It's because I wasn't thinking clear. I was living in that state of, well, what happens if I move? What are my kids never going to come see me? Well, what happens if I get a job in a different place? All of these things that I had no control over because they hadn't happened. The only thing that I had control over was right here, right now, and what choices am I going to make? And what was the best choice for me, for my family, for my life. And so I made the choice really quickly to sell my house, and I'm in the middle of it right now. And I'm actually grateful that I'm unemployed right now because there's no way I could do this. So
well, I was going to say, you quit your job too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I quit. I left the job. I decided. So here I am. I'm unemployed for the first time in many, many years, my whole life. I've always had a job. Selling my house that I've been in for 22 years, and it's where my kids grew up and all that. And I've never been more at peace and so much gratitude and just joy in my life. And I'm not scared about my future. I'm not wondering what will happen. I'm just at this point where I'm just going to make the choices when I'm confronted with them. I'm looking for a job, but if I don't get an interview, it does not hit me in any way because I'm thinking, well, it wasn't the right thing for me. And I'm just moving forward, constantly making choices because I'm in that expanded state. I'm not at pure joy, and but I'm there's some days when I'm feeling pretty high on that level of consciousness.
I mean, Liz, you are like saying some pretty big things for people to hear it, because I lived in that contracted state too. And sometimes people listen to the podcast and they're like, I don't believe this is happening. These are just these are just stories. But I mean, this is a pretty big deal. These are two major life decisions that you have made inside 90 with confidence and acceptance, and it's a really big deal. I think this is when you did your like transitional post, like, wow. You want to share what you felt after you made those decisions?
Yeah, I think it was on day 45. I just happened to write down, like, midway through my 90 days, what have I upgraded in my life? How am I feeling? And I have it written down here somewhere, but it was more confidence, more productivity, more trust in myself, just a willingness to make choices and stick by them. I don't know, what else did I say, Roseanne? They're just
it was phenomenal. You provided so much hope for so many people.
Oh, yeah. Can I touch on that a little if I just didn't?
Please do.
As I said, before I started this, I really thought that my life was on a downhill trajectory, that this was it. I've already hit my peak. I'll probably never meet someone that I'm going to share the rest of my life with because I'm on that downhill. I'll probably not get the job. All of these stories that were just in my head. And now I can 100% say that I have so much hope for my future. I'm looking forward to everything. Again, I have no fears. I really don't. It's like, it's such a light, airy, peaceful feeling to just not have that fear of the unknown. And instead it's hope and it's excitement, and I'm not trying to control anything.
I did a podcast with Danny, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes back. And that was like, okay, I'm ready to, I'm around the same age, a little older than you, but, I was in a downward spiral too, and just thinking I had no more to give the world. And now it's like the world is my oyster. It opened up like, oh my gosh, where am I going to go? Where am I going to be? Who cares? It's fun. I trust it and the opportunity and all that inside 93 days. That's actually for you. It happened at about day 45.
If anybody is listening to this and they're thinking about, but doing it, I can just say from my experience, this is one of the most transformational periods of my life that I've ever had. I mean, I really can't look back and think of anything else that really, that I gained so much growth in such a short period of time, and growth that I know is going to be with me forever. This isn't going away. This is just the start. It's 90 days, but boy, it's like, this is just the start of continual growth in my life.
Right.
And because I can see that now, I can actually see it. Wow, there's so much more now to look forward to in my life.
Yeah, I agree. And it's fun to watch. Okay. So I want to transition because she knows where I'm going. Okay, everybody.
I think I do.
Okay, everybody. Because Liz is single. Actually, I'm single too. We both shared a few dating stories, but yours were far better. And far better and far, I don't know, they just provided some really valuable lessons. And I just think they can be so important for people listening too, who are, find themselves divorced and single. And, what does life look like now in an alcohol-free dating world? And Liz, you shared a few stories with us. So I'm hoping
I did.
maybe you have more to share now. So yeah.
To everyone's entertainment, I did. I was very vulnerable, and I was able to communicate my experiences. First of all, the reason I wanted to date, it was very intentional. And I really only started probably, I don't know, a few weeks ago, kind of going back to dating. I wasn't at all, I think, the first 60 days or something on Project 90. But I wanted to be intentional because I knew I would have the support of the group. And I knew that dating was kind of a trigger for alcohol, meaning it was just expected. You go on a date for drinks, you're going to have a cocktail. So there was one guy that I had a date with this summer, and it was golf and it was dinner, and we it was probably 12-hour date. And I think we probably started drinking on the golf course. And at the time I remember thinking, well, okay, I'm not really sure about this guy, but I was having fun. I mean, playing golf and, blah, blah, blah. So for whatever reasons, COVID, we got together and had a date about a month ago. And I'm not going to go elaborately into all the details, but after about an hour, I realized that I was criticized probably 10 times. He was a very negative person. I did everything wrong. And I was like, I spent 12 hours with this guy. And by the end of the night, he told me I was walking like a duck because I had a hip issue. And he said, well, you know why you have an issue? I said, no, why? He said, well, because you walk like a duck. I finally said, oh my God, I have to go. But the lesson that I did learn was the only difference between the summer date and this date was that I was alcohol free. And how did I not see what was truly there? And the only thing I can think of was alcohol clouded my judgment. I wasn't really in tune to everything. I probably was like, oh, whatever. But the other thing too, I think is when I used to date, it was my question be, oh, I wonder if they'll like me. Will they like me? What do I need to do to change who I am to make that guy like me? And that's not the way it is now. I'm looking for authenticity from me and for whoever I'm dating, and getting to know the real person. And I mean, it's a little bit, it's hard to accept that, that's the way I was dating, that I really, that I was more concerned about whether someone would like me than me being myself. But it's an important realization. And, again, the difference is that alcohol was involved before. It really is. And yeah, so I've had about 4 dates, and they haven't been as bad as that
4
first
dates.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. And two with men that I had dated, and it was like, wow, I'm really not interested in these guys anymore. I'm much more interested in really, I just said authenticity, someone being their true self, a little bit more depth than maybe I had been drawn to before. I mean, it's just, I just wasn't making the right choices for myself. Right. I don't think I was thinking in that way.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think that resonates with me as well, is that there's so much more clarity in going out with a date and understanding, and maybe not moving in so fast too, because your inhibitions are reduced, which is kind of sometimes what we want on a date, but it's a very different dance, when we don't have to have alcohol in the mix. So, how about your relationship with your children? Do you recognize a change in that?
It's so hard because none of them really, they don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I feel like it's better because I'm certainly not, I'm much steadier in my, with who I am. I mean, I'm much more patient. I think I'm a much better listener. I don't react anywhere near as quickly as I used to, I think, to whatever they might be doing.
Isn't that amazing? I didn't realize that. I don't know about you, but I used to feel that I was a really impatient person because I used to react. But then when I took away the alcohol, I'm not saying I never react, but it's a whole nother ball game. Do you find that as well?
Oh my gosh, just everything I'm just more even, really more at peace. Actually, one of the funniest things I've really noticed, I used to have to drive like 35,000 miles a year. And I was always in a rush, like always. There was always someplace I had to go. I was driving so fast all the time and annoyed with people. I find myself sometimes driving so slowly that even my kids were like, "Mom, why are you driving so slowly?" I'm like, "Oh, Emma, because I'm just so relaxed and I don't care if someone's going too fast. I just let all that go. I really
you are truly smelling the roses as you go."
It was so funny.
That is funny. I love that. And then what do you think's going on? So you're in the midst of selling your house. What's your approach now about opportunity moving forward and potential jobs or entrepreneurship? What are you doing? What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, I've had to fight the the little voice in my head saying, "Oh, you have to get a job that's, a really high profile, stressful big girl job because that's what you're supposed to do." And then I'm like, "Do I? Is that what I need to do?" And because you feel like almost your self-worth revolves around that. Everybody said, "What do you do? What do you do?" And so I'm fighting that, but where I'm definitely leading now is I am going to explore a lot of different opportunities. I'm open to any discussions with anyone. And I have, oh my gosh, right before we got on here, Roseanne, I actually had an email from an HR person from one of the Project 90 members right now that had mentioned that their company was hiring. And I have an interview next week.
Wow.
And I have a number of those things, again, just for networking, either with P90 people or just, putting myself out there. I'm doing a mentoring program right now and meeting tons of people. And I really am just, I'm just open to everything. And I do know, because I trust myself, and I don't know. I've got a gut feel for things that I guess it's a combination of intuition and experience when you get that gut feel, but I just know when something's going to be right. And right now I have no problem saying, "No, that's not right for me. That doesn't feel good." Where I think, I know a year ago, I took a job because I was like, "Oh, they want me. Oh, I better take this. Who else is going to want me?" Right now, I know I'm going to say, that's not a good fit, or that's a good fit. And I'm also not driven by money. I need to make money, of course, but that's not the only thing. It's not about a title. It's not about money. It's like, is this something I'm going to be able to add value? Am I going to be fulfilled doing it? Can I help other people? It's just a completely different approach right now.
It really is. And you've been such an inspiration to so many people. I guess I don't know if you were surprised or not by all the love that you got at the end of our, when we get to 90 days, we kind of celebrate people in a meeting and recognize your journey. We talk about you on Marco Polo. Do you want to talk about how that felt at the end?
Yeah.
I think you were surprised, right?
I was. And it's funny because I think, it was last night for us. And this morning, I think I said, well, it was a Liz love fest last night. I was just overwhelmed by the kind words. And, you know, what people said about me, I haven't internalized it. I don't think of myself as wonderful as people have said I am. But boy, that's helps. It's helping me get to that place of really, truly liking myself. I'll get there. Right now, I'm not there, but it certainly helps. And yeah, it's, I really have made some incredible friends. And someone said it like, this is real. Our friendships on Project 90 are real. And I absolutely agree. It does not matter that we have not seen each other in real life. I guarantee you there's a number of people in this program that I will meet in real life as soon as COVID's over. Right. I absolutely 100% believe that. And there's also people here that I know for the rest of my life, I will be able to call up and ask, if I ask for support, they will be there. I just know it. I know it in my heart and I believe it. And wow, how special is that? Yeah. I mean, that's in this world, that is just unbelievable, I think.
I agree. We've talked about it in some prior podcasts too. It's just the essence of doing something in a community gives people much power. Just that community, I think for this particular community to be open about struggles, realizations, and people are inspirational, right? When you were starting, you were inspired by people 80 days in front of you going, wow, I want that. And now you're the person that's inspiring people like, wow, Liz, I didn't know you that much, but what? So it's kind of like this perpetual snowball that is happening in there. And it's really nice. So before we wrap up, is there anything you feel like you learned in your alcohol-free journey, not necessarily, as a result of Project 90, but just in life about, how this is really an opportunity as opposed to missing something? Like, do you think you're missing out on anything anymore by not drinking?
No, I've gained so much. Absolutely nothing. I've gained so much by choosing to be alcohol free. And every day I'm alcohol free is another day that it's a win. And it's, it's just something that I can look back to and just say, hey, I always had that. I'm alcohol free for 93 days and my life has been upgraded so much. Yeah, I never feel like
do you feel like you need to explain, like, how do you explain to people, hey, well, I guess it's middle of winter, you haven't had to golf without alcohol, but how do you?
Oh no, I've been out a ton with people. Okay. And I will just say, oh, I'm not drinking and oh, how come? It's like, oh, because I want to be healthy and it's the best thing I've ever done. And what's great is every time I've gone out, I've had a ball. And I don't care if anyone else is drinking, but I definitely can see, I can see the effects and I wake up feeling great the next day. And every time I do that, it's like a win. It's a win. And then it just helps me for the next time. It's like, oh, I've done this. Oh, I've done this 5 times. Okay. Now I'm alcohol free. I can still go out. I still have so much fun with my friends. And,
well, you've done this through some of the bigger times, right? The holidays. Did you start before Thanksgiving?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you went through Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and Super Bowl. Any problems there?
None.
Exactly.
None. No. It wasn't even a question.
Right.
I'm just not going to drink.
That's awesome. Liz, thank you for being an inspiration. And I hope we get to do a part 2 in the future and watch how this confidence, I mean, the the really cool thing about you and your journey is rarely do we get somebody who's made so many life changes. Well, not rarely. People are making a lot of life changes, right? But you know, as a single executive that is, is looking for a new path and a new home and a new, you know what I mean? And just to be so confident, that's just off the charts, really inspirational. So
I can't wait what the next year is going to bring. I just know it's going to be unbelievable.
Well, if it's anything like mine, you're right. It's just opportunity keeps knocking because, that your joy is shining through and it's just infectious. And so
thank you
for doing this and providing, people hope. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Roseanne and Kevin and James. It's really just been unbelievable.
Thanks for listening to the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Podcast. I want to load you up with some free stuff right now. So if you want to go to jamesswanwick.com/guide, I will send you my Quit Alcohol Guide, which has helped six-figure entrepreneurs and top professionals reduce or quit drinking. You can also text the word QUIT GUIDE to the number 44222 if you're in the US, of course. It doesn't really work anywhere outside of the US. But if you're in the US on your mobile phone and you'd like that guide, text the word QUIT GUIDE to the number 44222, or you can go to jamesswanwick.com/guide. If you'd like to schedule a free 15-minute call with one of my top coaches, just an exploratory call to see if or how we can help you, then you can go to jamesswanwick.com/schedule, or you can text the word Project 90 to the number 44222 if you're listening in the US on a mobile phone. That's jamesswanwick.com/schedule, or you can text the word Project 90, that's one word, Project 90, to the number 44222. Feel free to send me a direct message over on my Instagram account, which is @JamesSwanwick. You can also watch video episodes of this podcast and a series of other educational videos on my YouTube channel, which is James Swanwick 1, or you can direct message me on Facebook @JamesSwanwickOfficial. And finally, a request. Would you please now write a short review of the podcast inside of the Apple Podcast app on your phone or on iTunes on your desktop computer? Would you please give the show 5 stars and write a quick 1 or 2 sentence review? This will help the show get in front of even more listeners, potentially transforming someone's life. You can rate and review the show inside of your Apple Podcast app on your phone or over on iTunes on your desktop. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you next time.